Hello everyone, Oliver here from Spitfire Audio. Welcome to my last video of the year, a year that has been a true roller coaster, and I sincerely hope that you're well, safe and are still able to enjoy the Christmas season. In this video, I'm going to take you through a cover of a Christmas carol I've created using our library Albion NEO. Albion NEO, like many other libraries, are 40% off this year. Please check out our website or socials to not miss out on any opportunities. The Christmas carol I've chosen is O Tannenbaum, perhaps more famous in the Germanic-speaking countries, but being from Switzerland, O Tannenbaum was definitely sung every year. Here's a little reminder of how this sounds.
O Tannenbaum, wie grün sind deine Blätter, du grünst nicht nur.
And here is a version by the wonderful Nat King Cole.
O Tannenbaum, wie treu sind deine Blätter. Du grünst nicht nur zur Sommerzeit, nein auch im Winter.
Very beautiful version, and for those of you who speak German, very charming accent there from Nat King Cole. So, in the true spirit of Albion NEO, a library that echoes the new and modern sounds of progressive musicians and composers such as Oliver Arnolds, Niels Frahm or the LCO, I'm trying to create a hybrid, emotive and, let's say, icier version while maintaining it still Christmassy. Here is my take on O Tannenbaum. So before I show you the details of my track here, I would like to enlighten you with a quick bit of history about the song. O Tannenbaum is a German Christmas song, and it is based on a traditional folk song and only became a Christmas carol throughout the 19th century. Ernst Anschütz, organist and composer, wrote the modern lyrics as we know them in 1824. O Tannenbaum translates to fir tree, and the lyrics don't actually refer to Christmas, they refer to the fir's evergreen quality as a symbol of faithfulness. Anschütz based his text on a 16th century Silesian folk song called Ach Tannenbaum. By the way, Silesia is a historical region of Central Europe, mostly Poland, but also Czech Republic and Germany. A German collector of folk songs wrote a love song inspired by the Silesian folk song, taking the evergreen faithful fir tree as a contrast with a faithless lover. So the lyrics go, O Tannenbaum, wie treu sind deine Blätter, meaning how faithful are your leaves, referring of course to the needles of the tree. Now the custom of the Christmas tree developed during the 19th century when Anschütz added, as said in 1824, 2 more verses referring those lyrics to Christmas and kind of officially making it a Christmas carol. Now we're all informed, I'm gonna just show you here how I started this cover or the track. Usually I sit on the piano and I sketch out kind of the chords or the structure I would like to apply to my track here. So in this case, I only took the melody and I invented free my chords or harmonic structure here. I'm not going to play you the whole piano thing because I'm noodling about and making mistakes, etc. But it was kind of enough to get my idea into the head. Let's have a quick listen here. So my intro, as you remember, and as I'll show you, this stays fairly similar. I use very soft strings to create this kind of moody atmosphere. I had a little bit the idea of starting a little bit moody, slightly minorish, and then lightening up. And it's kind of a reflection of the year in a sense, and hoping to end on a positive note for a good 2021. Anyway, so let's continue a little bit. So a little bit the reoccurring structure, B flat major. And then going to D minor, staying in this minor kind of realm. And in the middle part, I'm doing something a little bit more magical. I'll show you. I use these synths and treated sounds, and I'm changing to major, to the relative major, which is F major here. And I have this pedal note, this loop, I'm calling it cool loop F. And just have that in there and play this second part of the song on top of this major mood. And then in the end, it ends a little bit more grand on a positive note, as mentioned. Yeah, so I won't play you much more here because I'm just noodling about. If you're wondering, I'm using my own piano here that I sampled from my sample library in Amsterdam. I had to leave it there, but luckily it's here and I use it quite a lot for sketches, and sometimes it ends up in the compositions as well. But not on this one because I wanted to keep it string heavy. So I'm starting my piece off with these harmonics. So the good thing about Albion NEO is that you have strings A and B. So you can actually create a really small, intimate sound. If you want it to be bigger, you just combine strings A and B. You can either choose similar articulations or totally different articulations and create through that your own sound, which I've done a little bit here. So strings A, for example, they just do long tremolo here, and strings B here, this long seagulls. And I mean, these are just absolutely magical. Let these harmonic slides. Quite like it. And by the way, with the orchestral elements here, I'm choosing outriggers and ambient mic mainly because I want it to be quite airy and lush. So I have these two complementing each other here. Just going until my middle bit here, and in the end I'm doing another kind of pedal note. I guess it's not really a pedal note, a drone note, but this time the F, and here it's more on a minor format as said before. And then I'm using these Collegno Tratto patches here. They're when they play with the back of the bow on the strings, and it just sounds really, really magical. I'm playing all 3 notes at the same time here, but then I'm dividing it here in my arrangement. I'm using strings A, but then I'm using super sul-tasto, so a sound with a little bit more pressure, so therefore you get a little bit more note and less atmosphere, I would call it. And then my strings B here. Oh, this long flautando pulse is quite amazing as well. So I've chosen that because I have in my arrangement, for example, here the D, I don't have much movement, but if you choose a sample that has a bit of movement, it doesn't come across boring or as if nothing happens. So let's just have a listen. Just subtle, but something is happening. Quite like it. And then here, flautando consort. Oh, just absolutely magical. Outriggers and ambient mic release a little bit higher up because I'm using legato later on for my main melody, but here I don't want in between the notes to kind of my sample or my sound to drop or to suck as we refer. So my release is quite long, ambient mic's up, and the reverb also quite high there. So that's pretty much my intro. I have some pads and ambient sounds here because we've included an EDNA engine here. So you have the whole orchestra, by the way, so flutes, brass, strings, and then you have some Brunel loops. I show you the Brunel loops a little bit later. They come in. A harmonium, which is doubling up my melody here. Sigla textures are some synthesizers from Christian's collection as well, put through effects, etc. Stevenson's Steam Band as well. There's some Atmos stuff. I show you some of my favorite sounds I've used. By the way, approach-wise, after I've finished getting the arrangement and structure in my head, I went through and set up my templates basically for the project. So here I've chosen one that's called CH's Favorite Pad. And I've got some more of these EDNA patches coming in. I really like it. So you have this kind of stuff going on really far in the back. It makes you just feel you're in a snowy forest and there's like just magical things and noises happening. So here actually I'm using a Brunel loop. As I explained, I'm going to show this to you. So if I just play this here. So this is the whole loop, and then you can also just address them separately. So you can have only the percussion of this loop. And then it's tuned, so you can actually play it in your desired tuning. The guitar separately, the synth high separately, synth low separately. These are just so handy. You can just drop them in and it does something exciting to your cue, or it accelerates the cue, etc. So here I just wanted to, I guess that's kind of my modern touch to it, this kind of neoclassical hybrid score, give a little bit of pulse. I still want to keep it Christmassy, of course, so I'm not going to bring in like a massive beat or anything like it. As you could hear, I hint a little bit on the melody in my atmospheres as well. I have here Behind Tension, and this one plays the melody here. Together with the harmonium. Wow, this harmonium, very lovely sound as well. The brass is playing the melody as well as the woodwinds. Wow, we have these long hollow woodwinds here. I'm just going to play this separately to you. So, and then here, the strings, I'm changing the articulation. So I do that quite often, and this library lends itself really beautifully to it. So whereas I have a little bit of a softer intro there with the Con legno tratto, super sul tasto, I'm changing here to flautando or sul tasto normale. They kind of build the bulk here of my composition, or of this first part of the composition. So then everything together. So as you can hear, I'm doing a little bit of counter melody, trying to duck away so you can still recognize the O Tannenbaum main melody. So in my next section, I'm doing a bit of a walk down, I guess. I'm going from D to C to F, and then having an E in bass, and it creates this quite nice, I'm just going to play this to you here on the piano. So that's quite a nice change there from the minor into the relative major. I'm also changing the sound of the strings again. I'm going back to Con legno tratto, super sul tasto to make it much more soft again. And I'm introducing some staccato on the woodwinds. And I lead the melody again with this distant haunters sound here. So it's very far back and it becomes really, really fragile there. So it's the B part of the song. And I'm leading it more with these sounds. And again, I'm not really doing any chord changes. So this loop just stays in F. By the way, here I'm using the main tempo synced loop. So you've got to tune that a little bit here, because this is original tuning here in D. Putting a little bit of distortion on it, just to make it pop out a little bit, and it has this like kick there that I like to just carry the whole track, basically. Just want to show you this Milky Way sound here. Just reminds me of snow in a way. So, and then I'm doing this, the similar walk again. I'm in F, and then I'm going to C over E. And instead of going to minor, to D minor, I'm going to B flat major, and kind of the track opens up. So, but again, I just want to play you a few seconds here for you to listen to these strings. It's just, you know, if you're looking for not your usual chamber string sound, then Albion NEO is definitely for you. Got the staccato here. I'm adding a little bit of reverb, echo boy here. Very subtle, it's just a little bit of an extension of the reverb. Distant Hunters I've already showed to you, Frozen Lake here. Together with Milky Way. I'm introducing this synth ARP here from the Brunel loops again. It's quite cool. It's in minor over the F chord, so it kind of introduces the 6 there. I like it because it's not all out happy, so you hear this ARP coming in and out. And I'm using a tremolo here, and I flipped the phase so it doesn't go from left right, it just comes back and forth, and I set the rate to 1 bar, so per bar it goes back and then it comes forth a little bit again. Sample delay, so you get the Haas effect, so you hear it from both sides of the speakers, and then channel EQ, that when it comes out, I'm just taking off a little bit of this high notes. You can hear the arpeggio itself moves a little bit, so the sample moves a little bit, so I want to take away a little bit the harshness, so without. Also adding some reverb there, Echo Boy, just to give more depth. And then I love this Fields tuned percussion loop. Again, that's from the Brunel loops as well. And just using the percussion here. It's tuned percussion, so I have to play in the right key. Sample delay again to get a bit of the Haas effect without. It's just a subtle difference, it's not just right down the middle. So in all these like subtle elements together, they create my middle bits there. And then in the end, again, I'm changing the articulation of the strings. I'm just going to play you those first so you can hear my string arrangement. Harmonics up there. So the track actually ends here, and these last 4 chords or 4 or 5 chords I'm adding as just kind of making this grand finale. And here we go, Christmas, Happy New Year, better 2021 kind of feeling. Again, using hollow longs of the woodwinds, just supporting the melody. Together here with the legato highs. So legato are for more melodic passages because these are recorded transitions. So here I'm using the high legato. You can also have like a legato in the low strings, and just make sure that the MIDI notes are overlapping here. Just make sure they overlap so you trigger the legato transition. Then I'm having brass here. Brass also features legato, which is quite handy, and I'm having a couple of octaves lower. One more time, now with distant hunters here as well. It's kind of high strings, but with much more reverb and just much more icy, and it gives a lot of depth. This up and down, actually, I haven't showed you this before. It's quite cool. I'm using it in my first section here as well. And then here again. So you have one sound going down and the other one going up. Listen out when I play you the last section, it sounds really cool all together. And this space glitter smoosh here, I'm playing that here and there, just it's literally adding a little bit of Christmas on top of my track. And then, even though it's Christmas, you gotta have a fat underbass, which I'm doing here. Quite cool. So I'm mixing this up with this most inspiring pad ever. So because the underbass is literally just one hit. Actually, I'm going to show you this first. So it has this kind of big impact, but then dies out quite quickly in the decay. So I want to double it up with this. And it's kind of going left, right, and it gives me a bit of interest in the bass. So I'm just copying this together. And then here the loops I've showed you already. And in the end, again, I'm going all out Christmas. So not specifically designed for Christmas, but somehow it reminds me of Christmas bells or Santa Claus bells. I guess in Switzerland we have Santa Claus coming actually on the 6th of December and arrives with like bells and stuff. So that reminds me of that, quite picturesque. So let me just play this last bit again and you can listen out to all those individual parts. So, thank you yet again for watching and listening. Thank you for your ongoing support for our videos, our tutorials, our products, and I wish you a really wonderful 2021. I'm gonna raise my glass to you guys, and yeah, I really wish you all the best. I'm gonna have a little cookie as well. These are called cheeky boys. In my language, Spitzbube. And cheers to you guys. Thank you very much. All the best. Much love and see you in the next year. Bye bye.